Well, it's Groundhog Day. Again?
Hello again everyone, and welcome to episode 6 of our Trade on Sports videos. Tossers, Trade on Sporters. We are traders, not tipsters, here to make you money, not take your money. In this episode I look at the effects of a very early away goal on matches and how to trade them. I must apologise that I haven't loaded this video up earlier. We've had a little bit of trouble with the internet down here in our Asian Pacific Rim. Anyway, let's move on with our 3 games to look at today and how we can trade a late goal over 2.5 goals and further stats that we can look at in these matches. So as you may have already noticed in the category alerts, we have 2 early goal alerts. One is VEA, which is very early away, and VEH, very early home. The difference is obvious, and of course sometimes the favourite scores first or the underdog scores first. I do not pay particular attention to who scored first. I just simply look at the 3 figures available to me from that alert. I will start with Polish Liga 1, Zagłębie Sosnowiec versus Odra Opole. This one has stood out for several reasons. So when we read an alert, that's not to say that we should always trade them. We need to take the information that it's given us from the GameState application database. From this we can see that VEA first half goal chance, or first chance for first half goal, is 73.49%. The chance of a further goal, VEAG plus, is 96.39%. And finally, VEAG++, the chance of a second goal after this early away goal, is 80.72%. Now, when you read this, first half goal, 73.49%, sounds pretty good. But it's these 2 figures down below that really stand out. The chance of a further goal in this match, obviously because it's quite early, is 96.39%. But it's the G++ one that convinced me in this trade to go over 2.5. When you're looking at an 80% chance of a third goal in the match, it's very high. And when you combine those 2 percentages together, 96 and 80, you come to a figure of 176. And I'd be looking to play games from 160 upwards. Obviously, the figure below, the goal plus plus, is the more important to me. When I see a higher figure there, that convinces me that the game will go overs. So in this case, I decided to wait until about the 30 to 35th minute and enter the trade over 2.5 at 1.75. It got to half time, there was no further goal. I was happy to let this trade run based on the high readings from G+ and G++, and I was rewarded with the overs short way into the second half. So when you're looking at these, this is a decision you'll be wanting to make. Am I going to wait on this game? Has it got a really high chance of 2 goals in the game? Or shall I wait until the second half? And don't forget, if a goal comes in, you can always go to the stats tab, which I'll show you now on this game, and see how it pans out. So here we are, and I've called up the 0-1 at half-time scenario for Poland Liga 1. Looking across the times, we can see that a late goal was quite prevalent. That would have given me confidence to put in a saver bet if I had not reached my overs. However, I was confident of the overs because of the reading originally on the VEA at 96 and 80. In our second example here, we can see a Bundesliga match between Wolfsburg and Bayern Munich, which was played last weekend. A real standout trade this for 2 reasons. Firstly, again, we see a very strong goal plus and a very strong goal plus plus, even greater than the Polish Liga 1. But what stood out for me here was the very early away first half goal plus at 80.46%. If we consider that on average across all leagues, there's a 66.66% chance of 1 goal. When we see an alert that says 80 plus, it interests me in a first half trade. I had no hesitation here in backing an extra first half goal. I could have gone for the over 2.5, however the market in the Bundesliga is very efficient and the prices were very low. I was still only able to get 2.10 on over 1.5 first half goals at around the 30-minute mark, which is pretty poor, but again I felt had a very good chance of landing. So more often than not, you will probably get that goal in the first half. It might come too early, or it might not come at all. There is that chance, but I've had relatively good success with VEA first half goal plus 80. So we arrive at our last example of a very early away goal, and we are back to the Bundesliga. Now you might remember the Wolfsburg game, we had a 98.65% chance of a further goal. This is the game that changed that stat. Up until this game, the chance of another goal in the game had been 100%. Massive stats here for a first half goal at 82.35%, and for a third goal in the match, 83.53. Definitely a tradable game, but just to show you that they don't always come in, I must have got distracted on this game because I certainly didn't see the first half goal at 82. Had I done so, I would have backed it. At half time, I waited, the prices weren't very good, and I decided that I would go for a late goal. And when we look at the stats tab for the Bundesliga here, we can see how that pans out. So at the back end of the stats tab, we're looking at the results that have been 0-1 at half time in the Bundesliga with that early away goal. And I've marked in red the late goals, which were 9 from 17, so we had an over 50% chance of a late goal, and the full-time scores, of which you can see only 1 from 17 finished 0-1. This was a perfectly good trade to enter. The fact that it did not win is neither here nor there. If you stick to these trades and these percentages, you will find more results go your way than against you. But it's a good example to show you of how something can be 100% yet still not come in. So I hope you've enjoyed this video on early goals and the ways you can trade them. Don't forget to always check the stats tab at halftime or during the match if it's gone 1-1, 1-2, to see what the opportunities are for a late goal with that goal pattern or that goal pathway or footprint from the 0-1 or 1-0 in the first 5 minutes of the game. The next video I do will aim to look at a quick response and how we play a draw. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, and if you do have any questions, please leave your comments in the box below. If you want to find out more about Trade on Sports or to join us, please don't forget to click on the link below the video in the description. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.